I don't know how they would write it or what he would be doing, but I want Cillian Murphy in this universe.
Cillian as the villain?
Cillian Murphy as playing the villain of Sherlock Holmes.
What's a good Sherlock Holmes?
So good.
I don't know. They already used Moriarty. The fun part about Agent Cody Banks
Frank
1
Muniz.
is there is the sexual tension between his handler and him.
There is some bizarre sexual tension.
And the second one? As a teenage boy, no, in the first one, as a teenage boy, we all feel that sexual tension.
You're like, I gotta hang out with this hot handler lady. What do I do?
Like, dang, I wish I was Agent Cody.
She's like, here, strap yourself to me, face forward on this flying machine.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah. Sean Connery was a dog.
Connery has such a unique charm to him. You want to kiss him right now.
Dude, I can't take it.
Welcome back to the Magical Mandatory... Why?
Yeah, here's the thing. The last time you did it, you did the exact same thing. So we gave you 2 weeks. Me and him did it.
I think it's been more than 2 weeks.
And then, no, it's been 2 weeks. I edited the podcast. I edited the podcast.
No, I do this every time.
And what I'm saying is that we come back around and we're like, all right, he's got it. He can do this.
Welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wiseworks podcast, everybody. All you guys, gals, geeks, goofballs, goofheads, knuckleheads.
Yeah. All the silly words.
All the knuckleheads.
Nincompoops. Yeah.
Idiots.
We had a candle on the table because...
Dang. Right off the bat.
We're not talking about this.
Don't say it. Don't point it out. And you're like, right, we won't.
It's funny. It's funny because
right, let me
you
say
said
it.
Don't point it out. So it's funnier if we point it out.
Okay, so let me point it out.
No, we're not talking about this on the podcast. This is not a topic podcast.
I'll do it tastefully. I'll do it tastefully, Joshua. Here we go. So
I'm about to just get up and not do this.
I'm doing it tastefully.
Right now.
I'm doing it tastefully. All right. I used the restroom, a number 2, in fact, in between the pre-show, which is on Patreon exclusively, and this episode. And Joshua has been freaking out that he's saying the smell is all over the place. So Wyatt's like, well, let me light a candle. Now, I'll say there's remnants, like whispers of it in the hallway, but there's nothing in here. There's whispers in the hallway.
Whispers, that's all we're going to talk about it. What's our first topic? Or give us some kind of other banter.
Goodness.
Give us
we got to do a little bit more early talk before we get into the first topic.
No, that's what Josh is asking for, but you can't force it. You can't force banter.
Okay,
This is a part of it. Addressing the candle in the room. Look. Address the candle. Now, I think the candle creates a nice ambiance. I think we should do it more often.
It actually does. It adds a nice light to this camera here.
A little touch of color there. I like it.
That's cute. If we match the lights back here to the can.
No, I like the color difference. Okay. If we made this like a blue teal, then it'd look like Batman.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice. What's everybody been up to? How's your work week been?
We got to get Joshua past this shutdown thing.
Yeah.
Joshua's completely shut down.
Is it what? There's something in my nose?
Yeah.
Good grief, Joshua. Stop with the bodily functions freak out at the beginning of this podcast. All right. So we're I'm how many weeks deep into fatherhood?
7.
No.
7?
Yeah,
it's 7.
Well, 6.5. So I'm 6.5 weeks deep into fatherhood. She's growing. For people who are curious, she is probably 11 pounds-ish now.
Wow.
She's born at 7 pounds.
I haven't seen her in 2 weeks. I gotta go see her.
You haven't seen her in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Here's the thing. I actually have to get some editing done. So later today, let me, and Kenzie needs to do some work. So let me
help you move a couch and then
babysit.
You just like, I'm gonna go edit. So
no, what I'm saying is
we wanted to have a pizza party.
Both me and Kenzie have to do work later. So what I'm saying is you guys can watch Josie.
Okay, we'll just bring her over here. And
that would Mackenzie would freak out.
Probably.
She wouldn't be able to focus on work.
She'd be like, what's going on? What's going on? She okay? She's probably screaming.
Oh, okay.
So she doesn't. She's a screamer.
We know what Kenzie would do. Give us your honest opinion. What would you do if we were just like, you're just like, let them take care of her for a minute, and
let them take care of you.
you wouldn't. You'd be like, okay.
I know. Here's the thing. I know Josie's gonna cry. I know she's gonna be upset, and she does that with us. You can't stop that from happening. So what I say is, it's good socializing for Josie.
Yeah.
Good socializing.
It's fine.
And we've already let her be babysitted at our place by a couple different people. So yeah, it's only for a couple hours. I would be fine with it, but I don't want to make Kenzie the bad guy either.
No. I'm not saying she would be uncomfortable necessarily with us watching the baby. I think she would be more uncomfortable that she's over here where we don't have all of the stuff.
Right. She'd be like, how are they changing her diaper?
Yeah.
Right now?
How are they taking care? If we're over there and we have all of the everything, she'd be more comfortable.
She'd probably be like,
we're not doing it. I understand that.
Kenzie would be like, she's probably napping and they probably are so dumb they put a blanket on top of her.
But I absolutely understand where she would be like uncomfortable if she's over here with us. Because there's nothing in this apartment to take care of a baby.
But there's also nothing in this apartment that's like really concerning to have a baby here.
What's 7-ish weeks fatherhood? Anything?
Anything you've discovered about yourself, or
My poops stink worse.
No.
what about anything you've discovered about your relationship? As not only a father but as a husband.
Okay, so I'm leaning really heavily on my own father's words. He said this to me during pregnancy, and I thought this is probably good advice to parlay into postpartum. Just be nice.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like it, just try to be nice. And I'll tell you what, you guys hold on, because when you have a wife and kid, a newborn kid, you have to be nice, and it is almost an impossible task to be perfectly nice when you're woken up in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's almost an impossible task. It doesn't matter how much you love this person. It is almost impossible to be nice and sweet when she pokes you and says, "Go change your diaper," because she can't
I was
sleep.
waking up in the middle of the night last night and I was angry.
Exactly. And imagine if someone wakes you up, that's directed towards them. You have to be very careful to just be nice. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm learning how to be more patient and more nice. And I have not been perfect, but I am trying.
Well, we know you're getting up. Screw this, man. Stupid. You're getting up.
You
can't sleep past 4 hours.
This is off topic, but on topic a little bit. Yesterday at work, this older gentleman, I was working on something, and he thought in his mind that I was just like ruining something in his department.
Right.
So he just runs up to me, literally pushes me out of the way, and just starts like throwing stuff on the shelf that I was working on.
Why does he do that?
Because he's an aggressive old man.
Does he have kids?
I don't know. He's an old man. He's like in his 70s probably.
Okay.
But like very aggressively comes over and pushes me out of the way and just starts doing something the exact opposite of what I was trying to fix, because he thought that I was being a problem in his department. So 10 minutes later, as I'm walking out the door, I'm clocking out and I'm leaving. Actually, it's like 30 minutes later. He comes up and says, "You were working over there in my area. I thought I was just helping by walking over there and doing that." And I go, "Oh, don't worry about it." And I clocked out. And as I'm walking out, I say to another guy, I was like, was that his version of apologizing to me?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It was what it was. But he never apologized to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just says, "I thought I was helping." That's what old guys do.
Yes.
They stop at a certain point. Dudes stop apologizing because they don't want to humble themselves in that way.
That they were in the wrong.
Right. So at a certain dude, and we'll all do it too. When we're in our 70s, we're going to be the same way.
Oh yeah, I'm not admitting anything.
You will stop apologizing and you just say weird passive things like, "I thought I was being helpful." You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
I've already stopped apologizing for like laying down massive logs. I just go like,
why?
It is what it is.
I did that today. I refuse to apologize for this.
No. Well, that's not something you can help. This was an incident that can help. So I was just determining, bringing it back to what you were talking about, being
nice.
Being nice,
And the thing is, maybe maybe it just grew like if you exercise being nice. Some dudes never exercise being nice. They're just mean, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how. And maybe that's why divorce rates are so high, because certain people just can't be nice. They just are mean, right? And at a certain point, doesn't matter how much a person likes you. If you're just mean, they will want to run from that meanness, and you have to. And that is on a human level understandable. You know what I mean?
I don't think openly practicing being a jerk all the time is profitable.
No.
Now, being passive aggressive,
that's a different game.
you can get places being passive aggressive. Being mean, you can only go so far.
Yeah.
Before people are going to start pushing back. Being passive aggressive, leaps and bounds.
Kenzie don't let me be passive aggressive.
Yeah.
She don't let me.
Did she reserve that right?
She reserves that right.
Passive aggressive.
100%. Well, she'll slay me with something a million times more passive aggressive, and so I'm just
She's
like
a master at it.
I have no comeback.
Women know how to be passive aggressive more than anybody else.
Yeah. Hey,
Women and gay men.
here
They got it.
I'm not going to name names, okay? But this is a very human thing, especially for someone who is very passive aggressive. Or this is kind of just aggressive in general, but it's passive towards a whole group and a weird perspective on life. So there was a situation I was told about recently where a certain person, there was an expectancy for a task, all right?
Okay.
And everybody else did the expected thing, and that one person just didn't do it, right? And so they got mad at everyone else, saying that they made, like, all of you are jerks because you're making me look bad.
You all set an unreasonable standard for me.
Exactly, but the standard was
Why
set.
do I know exactly who you're talking about?
Hold on. Don't lean into who it is. All right.
I don't know this.
You don't have to.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that it's hilarious because that is a to get like mean and openly mean, like on a giant text thread, right? And just be like, everybody who did this is a jerk because
They look better than you.
because you're making yourself look better than me, but everyone else did the task except that person. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Everyone else. So they're just lazy
Yeah.
at that point. Or
Yeah.
not paying attention.
Well,
Either way, you know.
I think it's a mindset thing.
It is. I'm a victim.
It's victim mentality.
And victim mentalities can make you mean.
And it's not like I'm a victim because of what I've done. It's I'm a victim because of what everybody else is doing.
Constantly.
Yeah. Everybody else is achieving.
Yeah. Achieving.
Everybody else is good at this thing and I'm not.
Yeah. And so instead of saying, well, maybe I'm not good at it, or maybe I'm lazy, or maybe
I'm
I'm not
not
paying
trying,
attention.
yeah.
Maybe I'm not trying. Instead, you're like,
Everybody else is trying too hard.
everyone else is trying too hard when it's an unrealistic level for them to try, so it makes me look bad.
How dare you accomplish your goals?
Do you think that is a thing we've kind of told ourselves because of like public school and everybody being in one classroom that they have to kind of I don't know,
achieve at a similar rate so that everyone looks good?
That could be it. Yeah.
Maybe that's a different mentality.
As an American,
no student left behind kind of thing.
Yeah, as Americans, we've kind of
It's like
put
we're
ourselves
either
in
gonna-
that because we live in a
Yeah.
we do it for
We live in a
12 years
society.
or more. We are in a class where everybody has to progress to the same speed.
Possibly. I mean, and it could be also, so it's like either we're going to be competing against each other and everyone's constantly doing the best possible, level of work to try to outdo everyone else, or everyone's like, look, we're all in this together. Everyone remain neutral.
That's not the public school system. The public school system is nobody really goes far unless this person is kind of, meeting a certain standard.
Right.
Excuse me. You kind of lower yourself to the almost lowest intelligence of the class.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the overachievers can't overachieve.
Yeah.
You're not letting them.
And they can't make their highest potential. Now, there are just smart people that could overachieve but are lazy. And so they just don't. You know what I mean?
So what you got to do is be an overachiever and a problem solver.
Yeah.
It's good. So you're going to figure out how to overachieve without looking like you're overachieving.
Yes. And these are skills of life. because this
doesn't-
parlays into jobs sometimes,
Yeah.
you know? And just like the old man at your work, you know.
Did he physically push you?
Did he put his hands on you?
Did he
not
actually,
He
like-
did not put his hands on me, but he got close enough.
It was almost
to me,
like
got
his
close enough to
presence
me
pushed
so
you out.
that he knew I would take a step back.
Did he say anything?
No, until he came up and was trying to apologize.
Yeah, see, that would have been an issue for me. I was like,
So
what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, this is really what happened. So he comes up. I was told we had these things called 1-for-1 swaps where you take one product out and put a new product in.
Mm-hmm.
I took all the old product out and put it in a cart and left it in that department for him to do something with because it's old. He grabbed it and started throwing it back in there. That's when he walked over and started pushing me. He just started pushing it back on the shelf. I'm like, I was told to take that out. And he goes, oh. And then that's when he realized that I was told to do that. And so I just, at that point, I turned around and walked away. I just walked away. I was like, I got to walk away from this situation for like 3 minutes till he collects himself so I don't have to get into a fight with this guy.
Right, because an old guy will get into a fight.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with him old
Well,
fellas.
this is a problem with me in that passive aggressive thing. I would have watched him put all the stuff back, and
No,
then
because I wasn't going to pull it back out.
I would have watched him put all the stuff back and been like, I was told to take all of that out, so I'm gonna go work on something else while you take that stuff.
While you finish
out.
this up.
while you take all that, because you know.
I'm not going to redo my work.
And then I would have blamed him when somebody's like, "Hey, all this stuff was supposed to be taken out." I was like, "Well,
It's like,
you know,
bro came behind me and put it back.
Old man Jenkins came up and just started putting everything back." So
Yeah, you know,
Sorry.
life do be that way sometimes, and you got to learn how to calibrate yourself and learn to just be nice, from fatherhood to coworkers to classmates.
Yep. Or even two partners.
Or
Two
when you're
partners
solving crimes.
that, one is a doctor and one is that is our segment, right?
Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's a doctor and one's a
detective.
detective. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
very
gonna say
absurd-
like roommates.
They're not roommates though, are they?
kind of
They were at times. I was just gonna say like
I guess.
if somebody launches a steamboat,
right.
right?
What?
And it's just a stanky one.
Why? Stop! This has become a thing today. No.
Okay, so we got some news, right?
A little bit. So
little bit of
this
news.
this can be a short segment, but I wanted to talk about this because I think it's
Poignant.
an interesting. We're at an interesting place with
Okay.
this series.
And this is the Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law Sherlock Holmes series.
Guy Ritchie as the director.
Nice.
So there was a sort of short update that they keep saying this movie is going to get made. A third Sherlock Holmes movie with this cast. It's going to get made. It's been on the back burner for a minute, but
It's been burning on the back.
Robert
for a while.
Downey Jr. wants it.
Jude Law wants it?
Jude Law, Guy Ritchie, they want to do it.
Okay. And everyone else wants it too.
They're pushing for it.
We all want it.
I believe in the article that I have pulled up, it says Robert Downey Jr.'s wife was talking about it, pushing for it.
Okay.
And I could not find an article that didn't have a million ads. I tried, and they're all set up like this.
Yeah.
Screen Rant, Collider, the other one, they're all set up exactly the same, showing the same ads.
Okay.
It was annoying.
So what we got here is it says, it's a priority. Sherlock Holmes 3 gets positive update from producer. So producer Susan Downey.
His wife.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that she's a producer.
Well, she's like she's kind of like in charge of the Downeyverse.
Oh, nice. So she
That's-
got Stuart Little in there. She got Iron Man in there.
I think is
Stewart?
Not Stuart Little. Dr. Doolittle.
Dr.
I
Doolittle.
was about to say, what? You got your
She
little-
kind of I think she kind of works on his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Susan Downey shares a vague but positive update on the progress of the much rumored Sherlock Holmes 3 starring Robert Downey. Okay. So what else is this talking? Is the point basically like everyone keeps saying it's going to happen, but there's not an official green light on this thing?
So here it says, when asked if they had any updates on the progress. Downey coyly revealed that the two of them had only recently had lunch with Robert. She hinted that the project doesn't have any crew attached, but it's a priority for both their company and the star himself. There's a full quote. Go down to the quote.
Well, he's not doing any Marvel stuff these days, so...
See these ads?
I don't care about Disney. Gosh. You're right.
Did you exit out?
I'm exiting. That's
See,
probably just a virus.
It won't X.
All right,
It's not a
just
virus.
try to read that.
Here's what I can tell you. Prior to this, we had lunch together with Robert. It was a very specific topic of conversation. So yes, it is in the hopper. We're gonna do it when it's right with the right people. But it is a priority for the company and a priority for Robert. So they want to do this.
And
you go back
Robert,
to
and
the-
more importantly, Robert wants to do
go back
this.
to the slideshow.
Now I'm a little bit worried
Okay.
because RDJ has been on like a vegan diet. And man, he looks skeletal.
Does he?
Robert Downey Jr. He's lost a lot of weight. He doesn't look like this.
Hold on, I gotta see what
I
he
get
looks like.
he's older. You know, he's got a little bit more wrinkles, a little bit more lines in his face, but he looks thin to me.
Today, maybe that might bring up some images. So he's a vegan now. Why is he bald?
He's I don't know. He had
He did this for a movie that he was doing.
there was a recent interview. Look how thin he looks.
He is kind of
but
thin.
he was thin when
Sherlock Holmes
yeah.
can be thin.
He
Yeah.
was thin,
was.
but I hope he's healthy. You know,
That is true. He
I
did
hope
go
he's
bald. He claimed it was for a role, but
and that's fine.
maybe it's not for a role.
But you never know. He might be feeling good.
Maybe he is, and maybe he needed to do the vegan thing to feel healthy, right? And I get that, but I just hope he's not overdoing it. I hope he's,
Well, to be honest,
taking care of himself.
This happened to Johnny Depp, where he got super thin, cut off his hair, started wearing flat bills, and then bounced back and gained a little bit more weight. This happened to Johnny Depp. Like, let me show you a picture of Johnny real quick.
I was just gonna take your word for it.
Hold on, I want to show the people. Thin.
Thinking.
So right
wow.
here,
Yeah, he did.
This
He
happened
got
to-
really thin.
This is after he was thick boy Johnny, right?
Yeah.
And then he got super thin and kind of skeletal looking, and then he bounced back to kind of this vibe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now he's older and a little bit more hefty.
So yeah, like look at this. He was wearing flat bills.
That is wild.
He got real skinny for a second and then came back.
Wow.
And so maybe that's something that's happening with, Robert Downing as well. Maybe he's just in a phase to clean himself.
Well, I regardless, what do you guys think?
Right.
I enjoy the first movie. I enjoy a lot of the second movie. I think there's some really cool slow motion camera shots. I don't think the story's 100 for me.
Okay.
But I enjoy the second movie somewhat. It's entertaining to watch. Is the third movie something you guys are looking forward to? I know you've talked about trilogies before.
What is your theory on trilogies?
That you don't necessarily think that like sequels and
So they've already made a
things are
second one.
necessary.
So I'm not discounting another movie because they've already made a second one. But I
Okay.
do think most movies, it's making a second movie is kind of like a hack, in my
Hold
opinion.
on.
But Sherlock works more because it works because he solves the case.
He needs
He
to
can
have
solve
more
the
than
next
two
case.
cases.
There's always a new case. So it's different than making Pulp Fiction Part 2
Yeah.
or something like that, which it wouldn't fit when they have to just come up with an idea. It's easy to have a new story for this because it's another case for him to work on.
they also kind of left us on a cliffhanger
They did.
because
Well, more like a waterfall hanger.
he jumped off and then he did come back at the end and explain. It's like,
Yeah.
I had this water breather thing.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
Moriarty coming back though?
I don't think so.
I think he got Moriarty.
He got him.
But I think that was the whole reason for potentially sacrificing
Yeah.
himself.
I wonder how they're gonna do a third movie.
And the thing is, okay, so I think the second movie was better than the first.
Okay.
I thought the second movie felt more like a case and more interesting. The first one was him trying to explain or trying to solve how this guy's just smoke and mirrors, and not
Which
actually.
is what most of the Sherlock Holmes detective cases were.
Yeah, and
I think they jumped into Moriarty way too quickly.
they did.
Yeah.
They did. They did get
Moriarty
into Moriarty
should have
too
been
fast.
movie 3.
Yeah, pretty much. But the second movie is still very good. And it has big ups and downs that just hold you onto the story the whole time. There's wonderful dynamic characters all throughout, and everything is just fun and enjoyable and intriguing. And so I think, based on the first one and then the second one being better, if they have the same, creators, I think the third one might be the best of all three.
Yeah.
If they think through it and plan it well. And I do want it.
Yeah, I do want it also. I think they just don't need to do anything like very hacky there's someone from his past or somebody that has a relationship to him or his brother or something like that, because it's
Like bring in the sister story
Yeah,
arc.
like what?
Yeah.
That wasn't a good arc for Benedict's versions.
Right. Or even bringing back Rachel McAdams, who died in the second movie.
she died. Yeah.
But that's in my mind, that's something that they would retroactively be like, no, she was alive the whole time.
Yeah. Which is
Moriarty
would be
was just
dumb.
trying to play mind
Yeah,
games.
we don't need to see that kind of thing.
No, I don't want to see that.
It's cool to bring back Sherlock, but you brought him back in the same film, so that was a good thing, right? And it ended very well. And yeah, I think if everyone's on board, we must have this movie. All right,
Yeah.
That's what I think. And the good news is, Hollywood right now is in the business of making sequels and prequels and continuing stories that they know that they have past success on. So it's more likely that we can get this than maybe starting a new franchise.
Well, I'd be happy with a solid trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would write it or what he would be doing, but I want Cillian Murphy in this universe.
Killian as the villain.
Cillian Murphy
Ooh,
as
as a
playing the
villain?
villain of Sherlock Holmes.
What's a good
would be
Sherlock
so
Holmes?
good.
I don't know.
villain?
They already used Moriarty.
There's got to be something.
There's a bunch,
Yeah.
but maybe just like a really good serial killer. Like a really successful serial killer.
I would be
Yeah.
down for that. Yeah.
And almost instead of Professor like Moriarty is, maybe have him, because Professor Moriarty.
Gangster.
I was
Gangster?
thinking psychotic. Like
Okay.
go really dark with it. You
that
know what I
would
mean?
be fun. Make it
Killian is really
rated
dark.
R.
Make
That
it
would be good.
good villains. Tom Hardy, Cillian
Yeah.
Murphy.
Tom Hardy almost feels a given though.
Yeah,
Skinny Johnny Depp. I could see Skinny Johnny Depp as a really dark
I'd
murderer.
love to see Johnny Depp be a villain.
Yeah, that'd
You
be
know?
fun.
That would be cool.
Johnny Depp can hold his own on screen.
If I'd like to see him as like a gangster.
And how cool would that be to bring Johnny Depp back into the main public eye with a really awesome lineup cast and film like the third Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
and I'm not too worried for this because it's not in production yet. I am worried for some other projects because of the topic that we're going to be talking about after we hit that Patreon.
Okay. Are we done with this?
Yeah, we're done with this.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
Cynthia.
For being
Thank
a
you.
Patreon supporter.
I really appreciate it.
She gets to enjoy pre-shows. She gets to enjoy exclusive videos that we do. That's kind of every single week for Studio Channel related things.
Talking about some drama type stuff. On
Yeah.
the studio recently.
Yeah, we talked about Jonathan Majors being in trouble, right? And how that relationship goes with Marvel and women in general. What do you have to say?
Did that ever get posted on Patreon?
Not yet.
Oh.
But by this time, yes.
Yeah, it's way posted by now.
So, but all that to say, look, we got some pretty cool stuff coming out on Patreon every single week. She gets podcasts like this early, a whole week early. So thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter. You too can be one by going to the link in the description and choosing the tier that best fits your content needs. See, that was succinct.
That was quick.
That was quick.
was
Did
good.
you like it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good.
I think we're doing good with that.
Good. That makes me happy to hear. Because last week,
That was a major improvement.
last week,
Jonathan, major improvement.
nice. Last week, I think, because I got it all in a tizzy with you're hating on the second segment, right?
All right.
But I think it started with the Patreon because I thought we were going to do a banter for the Patreon ad.
Yeah.
And you shut it down and started
just
treating
think-
me like I was nonsense for even suggesting the idea.
Well,
And we've talked about it in the past.
Oh, is this your version of an apology for getting mad last weekend?
Oh, I'm not apologizing.
Listen, it wasn't. I wasn't angry at you.
The hand on the shoulder really helps.
But you kind of you were like, we're gonna do this thing, but that we had talked about, but we hadn't planned anything for.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
I
this
was just
is,
like, whoa,
I don't know.
slow down.
I don't know what we're.
Slow your roll.
I don't know what you're trying to accomplish with this conversation, but I think it's going to escalate things. So let's not get into this right now.
Look, if things need to be escalated, I have the right and the freedom to escalate them if needed. All right?
We'll just
Here we
ignore it.
go.
Just ignore it.
But the thing is,
You
I'm
know
not
what'd be
choosing
fun
to
to talk
escalate anything.
about?
Don't talk over me.
I actually have a really interesting segment coming up where
Yeah?
things are escalating.
How is it
With
escalating,
us?
Wyatt?
No, not with us, but with Hollywood.
Okay, and what is that?
You're just gonna be calm now?
I told you I choose not to escalate it, but I reserve the right to escalate.
No, you don't get to reserve that right.
I
He's been
do. I do.
tired because of the baby and everything.
I am practicing
He's got
being
mood
kind.
swings. He's gaining
And
a
you
little
guys
bit
are
of
being-
weight.
He's been
and-
kind at home for weeks and weeks, and he's taking it out on us. So
That's why he's acting a little funny on these podcasts these days.
if you guys were concerned, then
Don't
boot his. I don't know if they saw that, but you just boot.
yeah,
don't boot.
you're trying to meditate and you got booped.
Look,
You got booped.
look. All of those things you mentioned might be true, and I'm not going to correct them. I'm not going to try to defend myself.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is at least I don't completely fall apart when I smell a little poo.
See, he's trying to start something. He's trying to start something here.
You're the one that required a candle.
This is his way of defending himself, is pushing it back on me.
You're the one that's been ridiculous all morning.
I don't have a problem if you're Ranger Rick putting down a brown bear.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it. You know.
Yeah.
So
See, you don't have an issue. He do. He do.
he do.
Right.
We watched, I just wanted to bring this up on the podcast. Power Rangers,
Yeah.
2000, did we?
17.
17,
All right.
I'm
I
just going to
have
guess.
one question before you go into it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'd never watched it, and I was always curious.
That's like saying I'm really curious to watch the Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah. But I had already watched that because I said this last night. I never was a Power Rangers guy. I was always a Turtle guy.
Yeah. You weren't a Power Rangers guy.
Yeah.
You were a Turtle guy.
So I'm like, let me just try this Power Rangers movie
as an
out,
adult, you're like,
because
let me get into Power Rangers right quick.
at this point, I know what people are saying about that movie because it's been so long.
Yeah, it's been out for a minute.
But I was just like, let me sample it. And I don't like the dialogue, and I don't like the bad lady.
Yeah.
But the Power Rangers stuff is cool.
They
just don't have enough of it.
Once they get their suits
Yeah.
and they're fighting like the putties, dude, it's classic Power Rangers. It looks cool.
Are the putties similar to like Fooglies from Spy Kids?
They're
No.
they're like
Like rock.
They're
Yeah.
rock golems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's kind of weird.
But the dialogue in this movie is some of the worst dialogue.
What
Yeah,
year did
yeah,
it
yeah.
come out at?
I want to say 2017.
Can we just? Do you mind just pulling it up?
We'll
So-
pull it up on the phone.
Hold on, I got it.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
want to show people
Power Rangers.
so they know
2017.
what. Yeah,
There
which
it
is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So
Images.
Go Power Rangers.
This?
no.
No, that's classic Power Rangers, dude.
Where is something from this?
Put Power Rangers
right
2017.
there. Right there.
More will come up this way. So this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's in this?
That's
That Don Cheadle?
No.
No.
These are kids.
It does kind of look like Don Cheadle though.
You guys.
Yeah. Click on this.
This one.
This one.
I see.
So that
Oh.
what's his face from Stranger
Billy
Things.
from Stranger Things, and then a couple other nobodies.
Yeah. basically.
That looks like an Iron Man suit.
It's
very
kinda,
similar
it has
to
some
Iron Man.
stuff. But once they get into the Ranger suits at the end of the movie,
Just stick with one thing, my guy.
it's pretty fun.
I'm sampling.
And
okay?
then they didn't do a sequel.
because I don't think people like
I don't
this
think
movie.
this movie
Well,
made
because-
enough money.
I don't think
Yeah.
people liked it. I don't think that anyone's
No.
like, yeah, let's do Power Rangers again.
But I think if they had a sequel with better writing,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a really solid film and more Power Rangers.
Okay, so 1 out of 10, how would you recommend Power Rangers 2017?
I don't recommend the movie. Go
I
watch.
don't.
Go watch all
I-
the scenes where they're in their Power Ranger suits.
Just
I
the
don't,
fighting.
But it did spark a thought we talked about. We are going to pitch a PG-13 or rated R version of. This is going to be a show, not a movie. It's going to be
Get it
a Rescue Heroes show.
Okay.
A live-action Rescue Heroes
Dude,
show.
Rescue Heroes.
Where, you've got your Billy Blazes, you've got your, I don't know any of the other characters.
What was the younger guy?
out. Billy Blaze.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
A live-action show for this would be really fun.
Rescue Heroes.
It would be super simple. You go kind of, it's the future a little bit. A lot of major kind of almost apocalyptic weather events are happening, and they have to form like a rescue team.
Yeah.
And just do a cool kind of pseudo-serious
I mean,
live action show about this.
We've got kind of shows similar to where, like, what's the Fire and Police one that they're doing these days? The,
I'm going to be honest, in this climate, I don't think Rescue Heroes will work. I don't think people are very pro civil servant. You know what I mean? Not right now.
You could also take it off of Earth and put it onto an
no.
Earth. Hold on. Put it
No,
onto a
that's
Earth.
too weird.
Wait,
That's too weird.
Would you guys let me finish my sentence?
I was going to let you. Joshua was the one that kept cutting you off.
You take it off of Earth, put it onto an Earth-like planet where they have learned to adapt to catastrophes like this on a regular basis, and the rescue heroes are kind of general maintenance of these weather events.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do that too.
but would this not be fun to just have, like, a show with Rescue Heroes? Just
A
like
series.
Yeah.
It could be.
It would be a little better, I think, than a movie, because a movie would just be like a catastrophe movie, like a tsunami or something. We've seen those before.
and we've
but
also
a show,
we've seen that with the Rescue Heroes movies.
Yeah, the show would be better because they could do it episodically. And
You guys remember the movie where Billy gets like scratched by a vine or something?
Yeah.
He gets sick.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Man, Billy Blazes. Everyone wanted to be Billy Blazes.
It was
That-
Billy-
nobody.
Yeah.
he's-
Magnum PI
He was Tom
stash.
Selleck.
Yeah, he was Tom Selleck.
And then they
Tom was way before Rescue
big
Heroes.
And then they were like, we take the main character, the guy who knows how to do everything, right? The number one dude, Captain America. We take him out. He's sick.
Dang.
That was a wild movie.
Yeah. The one that everyone relies on to swoop in and save the day. Be the
Blue with Tom Selleck. He's the
Blue
police.
Bloods.
He's a police chief already. They already got it. We don't need to do it. They've already got it.
Or they do Rescue Heroes. They cast Tom Selleck as Billy, but he's old. He's already done everything.
Dang.
Oh, that would actually be
gets cut by a vine?
Yeah. I mean, all
He
we have
put-
to
he
do
puts
is
the scar on,
We
so
gotta talk
for
to Fisher
Rescue Hero
Price.
lore.
I mean, what is Fisher Price doing these days?
Who knows?
Not producing Rescue Hero toys.
We could pitch it to. This feels like a Paramount Plus show. We could pitch it to Paramount
Yeah.
Plus.
Right. Paramount Plus could do a really good
Yeah.
Rescue Hero show. Well, I mean, and they're already out of money anyway, so
So that's
Swing and you
that's
miss.
kind of a topic of the next thing we're going to talk about.
let's do it.
Money.
Okay.
Ooh.
We are on the verge, and it may have already happened by the time this episode comes out, or we may still be on the verge of a writer's strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Hollywood?
In Hollywood.
Okie
You guys-
dokie.
so this is the
Why do you have
2007
Shane? What's the YouTuber guy? Shane.
Shane Dawson. That's not Shane Dawson.
That look like him.
Yeah, this is 2007 writer's strike.
Okay.
So this was when the internet was really starting to become a place where people watched movies and TV.
Yes.
It was just starting, and nobody was getting money for it. In fact, I was watching a video. I don't have it up, but it was from the writers of The Office. So
Okay.
you had like Toby and BJ Novak.
Yes.
I don't remember Toby's name, but they're writers.
Yeah.
And a couple other, I think Mindy Kaling was out there with them, and they were holding these signs,
Moe's.
and they were saying like, they're not paying us. Like they're uploading these. You guys are watching them on the internet, and we're
Get no
supposed to get like royalties or whatever from
Yes.
this, and we're not getting anything.
It's kind of like what the issue that Marvel had with Scarlett Johansson a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Where
because
she wasn't going to get streaming money, but she was going to make theater money.
Well, if they
And it didn't do
wrote
well in
good
the theater.
stuff, you know.
Doesn't matter. She needs that coin.
But yeah, you're right. It's the same thing, and it's happening again because streaming and TV shows have changed.
Yeah.
Budgets have gotten bigger. Thank you, Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Writing staffs have gotten smaller. COVID, and the money, they're not being paid as much because of streaming.
Oh, yeah.
So
They're not making as big dollars.
So now there's writing like groups of writers who are smaller than normal, having to write less stuff for less money on stricter timelines.
Stricter timelines, and
Right.
it's to meet the deadlines for what the executives
They're
want
not
for
trying.
their
They're not having to
streaming
write
service.
less stuff. They're having to write more stuff. They're having to write like a consistent amount of stuff.
Because streaming series are in high demand right now, right?
And then there's less episodes, so they're not getting paid as much when you're doing an 8-episode series or a 10-episode series, and you're on the minimum of the Writers Guild pay.
Yeah. What happened to, like, Big Bang Theory, where you would have 25 episodes a season? You know
It's
what I
different
mean?
because we're streaming everything now.
Yeah.
So if you pull up the article, they talk about it. I believe it's the.
Yeah, it's this one. What does Jonathan Oliver have to say
I
about
don't
this?
know. I don't care. I don't think this is about him.
Okay. All right. So what does the top say? What shows would stop first if Hollywood writers strike? Here's what the WGA says. Okay.
That's the Writers Guild of America.
All right. Say goodbye to your favorite late night show if Hollywood writers cannot cut a deal with the studios by May 1st. Dang, that's a tight deadline.
It is a
We
tight
are
no,
right
no.
on.
But I mean, if they're in talks every day, it could happen like tomorrow.
We're a
Or
week
it
away.
may not happen if they come to a consensus.
Yeah.
But
To be honest, hold on. We gotta acknowledge this first. The caliber of writers has been low.
it has been
Yeah.
low. And
So-
that's why I think that's partially why we're seeing a lot of this. But, I think they're focused on the wrong thing.
Okay.
So they're talking about immediately new episodes of late night shows, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Real Time Bill Maher,
Bill Maher.
Seth Meyers, John Oliver are going to stop. And it's not as much of a problem for shows. We've seen it affect shows, but it's not as much of a problem with shows as it is for movies.
Mm-hmm.
All of these guys are not funny,
No.
and they're government bought.
Right.
So
right. They all have political
the,
leanings.
If the government wants them to continue doing their show, they're going to continue doing their show. It doesn't matter. And if we lose a couple of them, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'd be good
for
with
television.
losing John Oliver because he comments on American politics and he's not an American.
Yeah, and he's not even that funny.
Well, he might be a citizen of America, but he's a freaking Britishman.
And
He's a redcoat.
So-
dang it.
but more importantly, this is really going to affect the writing of big shows like Game of Thrones,
Okay.
like The Last of Us, like
Stranger Things. The
Things.
last season.
Stuff that's already in production.
Maybe the movies for Lord of the Rings.
No, those aren't in production yet.
Okay.
So I don't think this is stuff that's being filmed right now.
Okay. All of Disney.
Right. So if the writers go on strike, then stuff gets halted. And we saw in 2007, a lot of stuff got affected. If you go back to the slides, I put a couple examples up there, but there were a lot.
Right.
These are some of the things that got affected. Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay.
There was no script. They were having to make stuff up because the writers were on strike. Quantum Solace, which was a significant downgrade from
Significant. All the other James Bond
from
movies.
the first. Like, this is coming off the heels of Casino Royale, which is arguably
one of the best.
One of the best James Bond.
You got Skyfall, then you got
movies.
Casino Royale, then you got No Time to Die.
Yeah.
And this one was bad.
Yeah, it was just bad.
Wolverine, I watched a video where a lot of it was just no dialogue. It says Deadpool says something quippy, and so Ryan Reynolds has to make up his dialogue for his character.
Right.
Like, he comes in, he swings all his swords, and then he's like, "Okay, people are dead now," which is great. Good Ryan Reynolds delivery, but that was probably improvised because they didn't have a real script.
Yeah.
Just
So
people are dead now.
We saw big effects from this. There were a lot of other shows and TV stuff that came out during 2007, 2008 that were affected by the Writers Guild stuff. With the way that we are now, the way that movies and TV shows are now, that are kind of less, we're not
Quality.
less quality.
Nothing out of Disney's great.
Anything that comes out in the next 3 years,
It's going to be terrible.
that if a writer's strike happens, is going to be so bad.
What I want to know is if there's a writer's strike, how many writers are actually on board to stop writing for these studios? You know?
I'd say probably a lot.
Because you got people who are directors also doing writing and producers also doing writing. So sometimes, Peter Jackson, he's the producer, director, one of the producers and the director, but also a co-writer.
Go back to that article real quick.
We have a writer that doesn't need to be paid. He's not a great writer. And I wouldn't even call him a him. Maybe a them.
A him.
ChatGPT.
True.
Interesting take, Joshua.
If we don't have writers, we're going to leave it up to AI, which is terrible because AI can't quite write a good movie yet.
But a good director who doesn't always write.
No, this is not a good
can
thing.
get a script from AI.
This is not a good thing. This is a bad thing.
Get a script
this
from
is not
AI.
A good thing. This is a bad
and
thing.
fumble his way through
This
edits.
is not a good thing. This is a bad thing. I'm not saying this in a good way.
I think you're right. That would be a bad thing.
Yes, but I'm pointing it into the universe.
So, also involved is this is the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers.
Okay.
So you're talking about producers being able to write and stuff, but they're involved in this too.
Interesting.
So,
To be fair, I bet you Jon Favreau's up in here.
I bet a lot
Especially
of
how
prominent producers and writers are involved in this. We've seen it. Disney fired like 7,000 people not too long ago.
Yeah.
Disney Plus fired people. Amazon fired people. Google just recently, I believe, fired like 10,000 people.
Netflix, who's outside of the mainstream, really. They're doing mainstream stuff, but they're not in the club. They canceled so many shows last year.
HBO, when
Most
they
of their anime
restructured,
section
they canceled a bunch of stuff, fired a bunch of people, and I think a lot of it has to do with redundant jobs. I think there's a lot of redundant jobs because of certain politics that are in play in Hollywood. But I think also the writing has been subpar, but I also think that the people with a lot of money are like, well, clearly the writers aren't doing their jobs, but you're also putting them on strict timelines. If you look at the Marvel movies recently and you say, oh, well, clearly the VFX artists are terrible now than they were, 7 years ago. No, they're just on stricter timelines. They're not being paid probably as much as they should be. And they're having to do reshoots and reshoots and reshoots.
Right. We've
got a serious problem on our hands.
I'm not sure how big of a problem this is. Because really I think what needs to happen is on top of the good writers, the proud and the few, you have tens of thousands of terrible social justice warrior writers in Hollywood.
True.
And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, they shouldn't be paid because they got the job for the purpose of their activism. And we don't want that in our entertainment anyway. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, there's going to be a few good writers that we have to take the hit for. But the majority of Hollywood are bad social justice writers anyway, who don't even know how to structure a story.
So you think we're going to lose a couple of these people?
I think we're going to lose a big chunk of them, especially if the studios hold their ground. If the studios say, look, we're not going to pay writers if the studios aren't making money from your writing. You know what I mean? And all of Marvel's and the older Disney Star Wars films, they didn't do well. I mean, maybe Disney did well, but nobody liked them. And Marvel's not doing well right now. And Pixar's not doing good right now. And so Disney's like, we're not making money. So why? It has to be the writer's fault. Because we can look at it and say,
I think there's a lot of like executives that are involved in this.
It's executives' fault as well.
Because executives are getting paid more now than they ever have been, while writers are still getting paid the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we can point out during this time, 2007, there was a lot of bad movies coming out.
Yeah,
from the 90s to the early 2000s, we were seeing a lot of junk. After this, we hit a renaissance.
Got Pirates of the Caribbean.
Dude, 2012 has some of the best movies ever put out.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually 2009.
So I would say from 2012 to like 2015.
I would extend it. I would say like 2008.
Even 2008 to 2000. Well,
15,
these movies
14.
were being put out around 2008.
Yeah, but not everything around that was bad. Because you had like a really strong sweep of good movies coming out.
After the writer's strike, we did see a significant amount of really, really solid films.
Yeah, we did.
So maybe this is a good thing, but I think it points more to an issue in Hollywood right now.
I think Hollywood just needs to be more picky and actually pay talent and not pay activism. You know?
That's probably a good rule of
Stop
thumb.
paying for agenda and pay for skill. You know, so stop with the, we need to pay this writer because they're gonna edit the script to make sure because they're they have a bachelor's degree in gender studies, so they need to make sure there's inclusion in the script.
You're hiring because of race or gender,
exactly,
or whatever.
Which we saw from the Star Wars celebration, like they're front rolling all of these creators and writers and stuff on screen. And talking about how, Star Wars is traditionally patriarchal. And so we need to see more strong women in the franchise. When you have some of the most
Leia,
strong women,
Padme.
Yeah.
Friggin'
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. The world is built around princesses and queens. You know what I mean?
And Star Wars broke away from a lot of the traditionalism when Princess Leia picks up a gun and starts shooting at stormtroopers.
Yeah, she saves their butt.
That's still a wild scene.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Where she's like, all right, and she starts shooting the grate. She's like, we're jumping down there.
Yeah, with those buns.
Yeah,
the space
that's pretty
buns.
cool. But I think we're gonna see a lot of stuff coming out with this.
Yeah, and I am split. I mean, honestly, I think the executives also have to have an editing as well as the writers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who's going to be making those decisions because the executives kind of run the show.
Pay writers more, pay executives less.
Give executives less freedom in creative endeavors. Say, you're in charge of business.
Yeah, you're in charge of marketing and business. You're not in charge of the movies.
Exactly. And honestly, that's how we got Andor, because no one paid attention to Andor. Kathleen Kennedy did not. They barely marketed Andor because no one was paying attention to it, and that's why it's a freaking good show.
I think
you know what I mean. No, Andor
It
is a start. Andor
it really is a solid Star Wars show.
It is the heaviest contrast in entertainment right now, because you have terrible, 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 great, terrible, terrible. You know what I mean? So it's the biggest contrast inside of a studio right now, and that's why it's a good example of what we're talking about.
It's going to be terrible.
It's probably going to be terrible, but
we saw it with Mandalorian.
Season 1 was awesome. You know?
That's all I have for the writers thing. Keep an eye on it.
Exactly.
We might see some really terrible stuff. I think we're all used to it by now, but
we can't get past it.
I think we may also see some good stuff.
Wouldn't it be fun if Kathleen Kennedy, in the midst of all this, did get fired by Bob Iger.
It's possible.
That'd be
but
fun.
I don't think it's going to happen.
George Lucas can't weigh in on any of this anymore, can
No,
he? He sold
absolutely
it.
Not.
Yeah.
He sold it. He's not
He sold
involved.
it, right.
That really sucks. He should have said, I reserve like 25% of the company. You know, he should have said something like that.
So, he should have done something. but-
He should have maintained the ability to assist in the guidance of Star Wars, because
I think Kathleen Kennedy honestly convinced him. I think she played a role for years as like
she Jezebeled him.
just as being like really as being competent, as being like kind of like a yes man.
Yeah.
And then when the time came where he was like, yeah, I maybe I'm not the right person. Maybe I should sell this to somebody who's going to do something with it. She was like, ooh, sell it and I'll be the president.
Because I have your vision.
I have your vision.
Like I've observed you for so long.
He was like, yeah, you have. You've brought me coffee so many times.
And in the back of her mind, she's like, but I'm going to fundamentally change it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to build my own characters and narratives inside of your story. Rough. So, you know, we'll see what happens, I guess, with the writers' strike. And maybe on like the Live in the Studio channel, we can keep up to date and give people
Yeah, we'll talk
play-by-play
about it.
with it, you know?
But I have a segment. So we've talked about like secret agents and spies and
Right.
this whole like season.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about some of the classics.
Okay.
Right? This strange time, this bizarre world in the early 2000s
That's some of my favorite time.
of spy movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit that slide.
The Strange World of 2000 spy movies. Nice.
So
nice.
there was this weird time between 2000
I brought
and
up Fugly's
2010
earlier.
of movies for kids.
Yes.
That are all kind of secret agent spy based with lots
about
of
the third
gadgets. We'll get to that. But I wanted to point these two out because these really are the more spy kind of secret agent versions.
The other
of
one
the two.
wasn't.
The
as
other
much.
one's kind of
It faded off.
completely thing. Yeah.
The other one was
completely
Quest.
thing? Yeah.
It was a completely different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
These look like spy posters.
Right.
I mean, look, you remember the magnet you ride on?
So cool.
That's such a
Remember
cool concept.
that famous Steve Buscemi line?
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you think?
you think
God stays in heaven because he too
lives in fear of what he created?
here on earth? And then he turns around and he's like, why are you looking at me
One
like
of the
that?
hardest lines ever.
No, he turns around and says, why are you looking at me like that? I'm no Lewin or something like that. Loon.
Just an absolute banger of a line.
Yeah, it too deep for the show, too deep for the
Right.
film. This fellow.
This is it. I don't know who came up with this concept.
Well, it was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
What else has Rodriguez done?
He worked on the worst episodes of The Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Nice.
That last
For
you guys
real?
remember the spin episode?
Yeah. Just unnecessarily.
You
Just
guys remember?
Can you pull
Asbesta
Robert
Gang,
up
Moody
on
Teenagers.
IMDb?
Robert Rodriguez. Oh, on IMDb?
Well,
We're still on Rescue Heroes.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, dude. You guys, how many Rescue Heroes toys did you guys have?
a lot.
An insane amount.
A lot. No,
Most.
We bought quite a few, and then I think we had some friends that were like, "We're too old to play with Rescue Heroes now." They were like in their teens, so like we're gonna pass them to a new generation.
I remember
and
when
we got so many.
when we got older, we gathered all of our Rescue Heroes and gave them to some like young kids that were in our neighborhood. And we're like, "Here, you guys, you know."
That was very sweet of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's done
Some of the worst things.
Book
in
of Boba
Hollywood.
Fett. A lot of stuff I haven't seen. He was a part of the Spy Kids Mission Critical, his animated series,
Executive producer. Yeah.
and just a bunch of other stuff that a lot of people don't know about. But
yeah, Sin City.
yeah. Okay,
lot of
so
stuff. Sin City's, from what I hear from a lot of people, fairly solid.
now did he do Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Is the real question.
Probably I don't know.
I don't see it here because I see
No.
Spy Kids Game Over,
Okay.
and I do not see Shark Boy and Lava Girl. However, he did do Spy Kids 4.
Yeah.
And so what are we getting at with this bit? Why are we pointing out?
So I want to look at kind of the progression. So these are the earliest ones.
Okay.
No, I saw your next slide.
You saw
I
the
saw
next
the
slide?
next slide.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Pull that bad boy up. Yeah.
Heck yes.
So
Heck yes.
I was thinking about this.
Hilary Duff was bombing in this film.
Mhm. Frankie Muniz is now a race car driver.
We covered that about a week
Isn't
ago.
that insane?
About a week ago.
He had a successful career in Hollywood and
Yeah.
then
And he
became a
said-
race car driver.
But I mean, there's you've got people that either go from like Arnold. He went from bodybuilding to
being a mayor.
to be an
Governor.
actor, and then
Yeah, bodybuilder, actor, governor.
yeah,
Right.
Pretty wild.
So-
So this movie has some of the wildest stuff
ever.
in a spy
And also,
movie, but it's also
some
for kids.
big name actors in these
Dude,
movies.
Ian McShane
Yeah,
is
know.
the villain in this.
And he melts.
He melts.
He melts like
from the inside out.
yeah, he melts like you see on Indiana Jones or something.
Hilary Duff puts a ice cube in his mouth and he dies.
She just all cool. She just the wind's blowing. She just walks
up,
like
bonk.
early 2000s music video and just fop, right?
And he's
Now-
like,
he couldn't stop screaming out of anger. He just and then he didn't even see her out of his peripheral.
so
just
this
coming up
movie
and-
feels like this movie felt
We
like
gotta watch this, actually.
James Bond, like old school James Bond,
Kind of.
but like if he was a kid.
They have all the gadgets. So you got like Inspector Gadget level gadgets, just wackiness.
Yeah.
Also, what do you prefer? If you were going to be Agent Cody Banks, handler from movie 1 or handler from movie 2? Which would you prefer as a handler?
Hit that button.
Hold up.
Yeah.
What do you think was a better movie?
Which is a
the
better
first or
movie?
second?
I think the second is
Second
a
one's
better movie,
decent,
but I would
yeah.
rather have handler from number 1. I'm sorry. She was just more cool. And
She was pretty fine too.
And the thing is, they leaned into it with the movie. There was a lot of
She was almost like a Bond girl,
yeah.
but not romantically
There was
involved
a
with
hold on. The fun part
Yeah.
about Agent Cody Banks
Frankie
1
Muniz.
is there is
'cause
the
he's a
sexual
kid.
tension between his handler
Yeah,
and
there
him.
is there is some bizarre sexual tension.
In
And
the
the thing
second
is,
one?
as a teenage boy, no, in the first one,
Oh.
as a teenage boy, we all feel that sexual tension.
You're like, I gotta hang out with this hot handler lady. What do I do?
like, dang, I wish
she's
I was
like,
Agent
She's
Cody
like,
Banks.
here, strap yourself to me, face forward on this flying machine.
Oh, yeah.
heck yeah.
yeah. That was
And
pretty
he's just
wild.
like, okay.
Uh-huh.
So he is fun, but what is his name? I can't remember.
Anthony Anderson.
Anthony Anderson. He's a lot less fun in Hollywood these days.
Yeah.
He is not nearly as fun as he was in the early 2000s.
Dude, this is like peak Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
It is.
This and Transformers.
This is when everyone liked him. Now it's just, I mean, people kind of like him.
What is he doing? Has he done anything?
He's been doing.
Oh,
He's been doing the Blackish show.
Blackish.
Yeah,
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 I know
yeah.
he was on Blackish for a long time.
And I don't know, somewhere along the lines in that show, he just got not funny.
Interesting.
And like you watch Bert's The Cabin, he's in an episode of that. He's like trying to steal the show from these two other comedians on that show, like 3 if you include Bert. And just he's really loud and obnoxious, and nothing he does is funny.
That was a lot of his shtick back in the day. Was
loud and annoying. Loud and
Kind
annoying.
of. But
get
there's
off my carpet. Grandmama don't like anybody on the carpet, especially the police.
okay, yeah, that's funny. I just saying he's not landing like he used to.
She did it. I was just wanting to stay at home and play video games with my cousin, and she came up in there.
Well, what I'm saying is I think this is a better movie. I
Yeah.
think number 2 is more of a better
Now,
movie.
keep in mind, I haven't seen these in years. I remember this one.
I remember
this one
clearly seeing
opens
him.
up so hard.
I do.
With they're at the Camp Woody
Yes.
scene where they're doing capture the flag.
Yes.
And Keith David,
Yeah, yeah.
right? He's like, nobody wants to spend too much time in the men's bathroom.
right.
Dude, it opens up. It goes so hard.
Yeah. Was it Agent Cody Banks where Keith David's like, yeah, it's in the first movie. He doesn't like ice in his water.
Yeah.
He's like, I said no ice.
No ice, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like a telegraphing what's going
Yes.
to be happening later.
Easter egg.
He's like, oh, get that out of. He like
Yeah.
takes the ice out of the water.
Yeah.
Man.
He
Okay,
would have been fine.
He
He
would
would've been fine.
Right, but
They
he
wouldn't
don't.
have
He
killed
doesn't
him.
trust ice.
Yeah.
So So
Wait, what?
are we? Is
Ice
there?
Cube.
All right. So are we? Do we have more?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys watched this one.
Did not.
I did not.
So this was Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. He's been trained his whole life by his dad, Ewan McGregor.
Oh.
And then there's this
Okay.
epic scene in the beginning where his dad is on like a mission, and he's doing Tom Cruise.
Hold up. Don't. The dad goes missing.
No,
Oh, okay.
this went hard because an assassin
Killed the dad.
leans out of a helicopter and double pistols his dad in the face.
Ewan?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's an awesome scene. It actually is genuinely a cool spy action scene, and then the rest of the movie's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like Agent Cody Banks?
It's kind of like Agent Cody Banks.
So they
but-
were just rolling
but-
on that Cody Banks train.
Yeah, so less
Well,
comedy.
look at the tagline. What's the movie's tagline?
Rule the school, save the world.
Yeah, so less comedy, even though it felt like they were trying really hard for the comedy. And I don't know, this one was more niche,
Okay.
but it's falling under that spy movie. Why did we get so many spy movies?
Because they were making money, dude.
Yeah.
Were they?
We were paying out of our butts.
Yeah, because we all know because of like Frozen and stuff, kids love, when they love something, they go too
You double
hard.
down.
They go too hard.
That's what Spy Kids 3 was. They went too hard.
Yes.
They doubled
They
down.
were
But-
working with technology that they weren't ready to work
Yes,
with.
but I also think
Sylvester Stallone.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
it got this audience, and then by 3, the audience that they had aged up a little bit, so they weren't as interested.
They were
We
trying to get
were
that younger
watching
audience.
the Zorros at that point.
Yeah.
Who was the villain in the first one? Was that Martin Short?
In Spy Kids?
Yeah. Was that Martin Short?
No, I don't
Am I
think so.
wrong?
No, you're wrong. It was I don't know the guy's name, but he plays. Is he the Toad on X-Men?
Oh,
Yes.
oh, what's his name?
He's the Toad on X-Men.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays.
Oh no, he's not Toad in X-Men.
Oh, no, yeah.
yeah.
Or no, he plays the blue guy.
the guy with the
blue
tail.
guy.
The guy who can disappear.
Yes.
and
What's his
reappear.
name?
That is Nightcrawler.
Yes, he
Alan
plays
Cumming.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Alan Cumming. Yeah, he plays
Solid
the leader
casting.
of the Fooglies.
For what's
Huge
his name? What's his
casting.
name? Floop.
Yes.
Yes, Floop. But also they had this guy from
Monk.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub. Tony Shalhoub's actually doing
He's
an
an
awesome role right
Excellent actor.
now. Have you guys heard of the show? It is on Amazon Prime. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
No.
It's actually a really interesting show about a comedian lady in the
Is this
I think the 30s maybe.
maternity leave?
No. Kenzie's been watching this show and I've been watching it in passing, and he's in it through the whole thing. There's
Well,
multiple
we all
seasons.
know Monk, Galaxy
Monk?
Quest.
Yeah.
Tony's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I just pulled up.
and then second movie, we got like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Who's what the third movie?
You
is,
got
I guess
Antonio Banderas.
Sylvester Stallone is the villain.
Yeah.
Doesn't Elijah Wood
So
show up
Elijah Wood shows up
No, in the third movie.
in the third movie.
in
Yeah.
the third movie?
Yeah.
And then they convince Sylvester Stallone not to be a bad guy anymore.
Yes.
Isn't
It's a really good take. Also, Elijah Wood gets killed instantly.
You know-
he loses all of his life.
Hold on.
yeah?
Elijah
Just
Wood.
blows up.
I saw a video of. I think he was on Friendship Onion
Okay.
like a couple weeks ago, where he acknowledged, he was like, I don't know why people do this, but if you go to like I think it was Wikipedia or something, it's Elijah Wood, known for Lord of the Rings and the guy from Spy Kids 3D. He's like, I don't know why people, that small role, just people recognize it so much.
I will
Because
say
he was in the kids movie.
I
That's
will
the
say
problem.
that like a lot of movies do that sort of chosen one thing. I think the guy, he's the guy, is one of the best like chosen one kind of names.
Yeah,
ever.
for a game.
Yeah.
And also, so we also in the first and second movie we have obviously Antonio Banderas. And what was the mom's who played her?
What's her name?
you had the cast.
You had the,
up.
cast list up.
Oops. Hold on, I got it.
Back out.
Ingrid, that the character's Ingrid Cortez.
So Carla Gugino
Yeah.
or Gugino? I don't know how to pronounce it.
It don't matter.
But yeah, she was solid.
She
She was really good. Very sexy.
Yeah, very.
Dude, Danny Trejo?
Danny Trejo
Danny
played the
Trejo was the
uncle.
uncle.
Remember, this is Robert Rodriguez. I believe he worked on Machete. With starring
That's
Danny
true.
Trejo.
That's true. Okay, so let me do Spy Kids 2 cast. Just to see if there's
Just so
anybody
that we
forgetting.
can really get into it.
It has some of the people up here, like
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi already up here.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let me go back 1 second. Is that
George Clooney.
George Clooney? He was in
Is
the first movie?
Devlin? Who's Devlin?
Oh, he plays the president of the United States. He
Oh,
has like
okay.
the eye thing on. Yeah, he played the
They got
president.
George
of the
Clooney.
United
And
States.
I was a kid. I didn't even
Because
know who George Clooney was.
He would always like video him in and be like, "Hey, I got a mission for you," and he puts the eye thing on, and they kind of played with it because he would take it off and be like, "You know who I am," but he was trying to hide his identity.
Dude, Emily Osment?
Bro, Bill Paxton. He was at the fair at the beginning.
Mike Judge?
Good grief, dude.
Christopher
is-
McDonald? What a stacked cast.
They all
For
had
just
stacked
the worst
casts.
movies.
Hold on. Wait a second. Do I know her? I don't
Taylor
know.
Momsen?
I don't know, actually.
I remember when this was before Hannah Montana, so Emily Osment was really little.
Yes.
Remember her pigtails did the
Yeah.
Mhm.
wild.
Freaking and
Insane.
and so they're like 1 and 2 had a stacked cast. We got to bring on we don't really have Antonio Banderas on the third. We don't have the mom. Carmen's not in it much. It's mostly built around Junie.
Mm-hmm.
So who are we getting to fill the gaps? Elijah Wood, Sylvester
And
Stallone.
Elijah Wood's only. It's like the girl. What was the girl? Was like the other kind of main character.
Carmen.
Not Carmen. The other girl with the black hair. Did she like betray them?
Yeah, she was part of the game. She was like built from the
she was
game.
like a like Wreck-It Ralph. She was like the glitch.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
she
Junie
was the
fell in love with
original
her.
E-girl.
And
Yeah.
Junie fell in love
she
with
was,
her.
yeah.
Oh.
And then who plays Judy? What's his name? Daryl. Isn't it like Daryl? He
The worst haircut. in
He
this picture
did-
right here.
another Spy
Sabara.
Kids movie like maybe 8 years ago,
Mhm.
and
Sabra.
Sabara.
I think it's yeah.
Sabara.
Yeah, that's probably it. But he did another Spy Kids movie like 8 years ago, and definitely they didn't have the people anymore, so it didn't really work out.
I need to watch it.
No,
I need to
no.
watch it. I
For
gotta see
curiosity's
it. I
sake.
need to know.
Okay.
So I think I have one more on this list.
Okay, here we go.
That you guys will definitely recognize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catch that kid.
Yes. And see,
This
is why
was
I
a little
always thought
different though. This wasn't a spy, but
This wasn't
it
as much
was.
spy movie. It was
Look.
more like a heist.
Yes, but look, we got this. This is why this movie did a solid for Kristen Stewart, because I went through the entire Twilight series, defending her, saying she is a good actor because I
of
remember
this
her from
movie.
this
You
movie.
remember how much emotion she put into this role.
Exactly. But then you got Corbin Blue up there from Jump In.
This is
High School
like
Musical.
This is like some early Corbin Blue. I think Jump In is peak Corbin Blue.
Yeah, I think he actually peaked at
In
Jump In
Jump
because
In.
he wasn't in anything else really,
Yeah.
and not was
High School
well
Musical,
established.
I guess. Was,
He's doing some stuff these days.
Yeah, but nobody knows.
You just
Real
don't
quick,
recognize because you
real
don't got
quick.
the hair anymore.
I want to run back through these and read the little taglines.
Okay.
So they're on a mission without permission.
No,
They didn't get permission for that mission.
That's pretty wild.
They heisted the bank
Yeah.
to get the
The
money.
bank her mom works at.
I know, and they didn't even get in trouble.
what
they would have
hold
gone
on.
to prison.
There's a big hole in this. This is for medical bills. Did
For
they
her
not
dad.
have insurance?
Yeah, her mom
No,
designed.
but it was
her
like
mom
a special
designed
thing.
a super bank vault
And
for
they
a bank.
and they didn't provide her
And
family
they didn't provide
insurance.
her enough
Well, it
money
was a
to take care
special
of her now.
surgery, so
Oh yeah,
it
they needed
wouldn't
money
cover
for a surgery.
Yeah, it
Friggin'
wouldn't
health
cover
insurance.
Whiskey or something.
Bro,
So they're on a mission without permission. Go back. What was the Alex Rider one?
rule the school, save the world.
I believe there's actually an updated version of this on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Of Alex Rider. Adventures and Attitude.
Nice.
Yo. Yeah, that's
Okay.
wild. What's this one?
Save the world, get the girl, pass math.
yeah.
Heck yes, that was thoughtful.
And then
that
I know the
Did the Spy Kids have
Spy
one?
Kids is Real Spies, only smaller.
Nice.
And then the next one is
Slightly
larger spies. You guys
They were
remember?
thoughtful,
You guys
man.
remember when movies did this?
I do, but the
That's
thing is, when I was a kid, I
crazy.
never read them.
Yeah.
I never
They
read
always
that
used to have
part.
the 2 thumbs up type thing.
So let's
But it
go back
wasn't a
to
slow
Catch
beat.
That Kid, because this is kind of the last one I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
It's insane.
I only consider this one because they have a lot of gadgets
Yeah.
going in.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
they have-
and then they have the carts, and the carts have kind of James Bond style gadgets.
It was like they were unrealistic gadgets, but it was all like based in reality.
Yeah, like they had the go-karts, and then they pull a zipper and it drops like jacks out to avoid the cops.
And they had the Nazi from Pacifier, who was the brain behind it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And between so it's kind of love triangle-y. They want her to pick like who's she gonna date between the two of them.
Yeah.
Corbin Blue.
Hold on.
Yes. Of the two, better choice, Corbin Blue. Because in this, he's not like jacked, but then he's jacked and jumping.
I'm seeing a real thread. They deal really hard in like the fun gadgets, the humor, the spy like badass kids concept, and also the sexual tension of teenagers.
Yeah.
That's like number one.
That's
like
big.
you cannot have, and so they're like, okay, these 2 boys and 1 girl who's relatively pretty, we're gonna make sure that they are fighting for her attention, and she's just
Like
so
the whole time.
she
Throughout
can't be
the
bothered.
mission even.
All of her thoughts are on her daddy, right?
And getting this money.
And the heist.
Yeah.
And this like really solid emotional moment when she realizes what the password for the vault is. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Am I remembering
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
plays both of them to try to get them to do what they want? Doesn't she
I-
play both of them?
Yeah,
And
I
they
think
find
she- yeah.
out. And
She
they
gives
get,
them a friendship neck, both a friendship
Yeah.
necklace.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
necklace.
yeah. Dude,
Each
Why
one
do
gets
I
one
remember
half.
this?
Each one
Watching
gets
all
their
of
half.
these movies.
Why?
Watching all of these
Why?
movies this week.
They each get. She gives each of them the other half of the necklace, and they're like really proud of it.
Yeah, because she has to convince them to go along with this heist.
So she uses her love.
She
against them.
gaslights them
Yeah.
to commit a crime.
yeah, a couple
Legit,
of teenage boys.
The adult crimes.
See,
Some of the biggest crimes.
What
you
if they
could
went to
commit.
prison for like 10 years and she's like, I feel bad.
She was willing.
Look,
to
I
take
feel
that
bad.
risk.
so listen. This is the kind of writers I want to see working in Hollywood.
No!
Yeah.
No, this is.
Give
top
me
notch.
more writing like this, because this is thoughtful, fun, and memorable.
So hit the arrow because
Are we gonna?
we're gonna rank them.
Okay.
Of the spy, and I actually put Spy Kids 3D up here.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna rank them.
All right.
So let's start with Catch That Kid.
Catch That Kid is 100% top tier, S tier.
But is it an S tier spy movie?
No.
See,
not necessarily
let's
spy
say A
movie.
tier because it's
Hold on.
not quite
What
a
are the
spy
rules?
movie.
Just spy movies?
Well, we're talking about quality, and I think as far as quality goes, I think Catch That Kid is probably pretty big on this list.
Yes.
But it's not really like a secret agent spy movie. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say this is kind of B tier.
Okay.
On the spy movie scale, this is B tier.
I remember enjoying Catch That Kid as much as Spy Kids 2 and Agent Cody Banks 2.
Okay.
So I think, and the thing is, as a kid, those are like I was on those until I discovered Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm
You
saying
guys,
is,
No, I don't know what
remember.
you mean. What?
I remember you guys quoting.
these are like my favorite
Spy Kids.
movies until
You
I
guys would
discovered
quote
Pirates.
them.
We would quote
You
the whole
quoted
movie.
The whole movie.
I think I quoted Agent Cody Banks 1 from start to finish, Spy Kids 2
You
from
guys
start to finish.
memorized their names.
The whole movie.
They had like incredibly long unnecessary names. You guys memorized
Because we
them.
were the annoying kids who wore our VHS tapes out from rewinding them and rewatching, rewinding and rewatching.
Now Kung Fu Panda I used to quote. That was the one
yeah,
I knew.
Yeah. Okay, so I personally think Catch That Kid has got to either be S tier or A tier. So if you're saying B tier, I think it lands in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's A tier. I would say
But
A tier.
it has to be at the bottom of A tier because it's not a spy movie.
Okay, fine. We'll put it at the back end of A tier.
Okay.
All right. So they can be some in front
It's
of it.
still A
Yeah.
tier. I don't know if back or front is
Well,
matters.
there's some movies that
Oh,
are
there's a
that
difference
might be
between the back and
higher
the front.
on A tier. I only putting it lower because it's not a spy movie.
All right. I remember Spy Kids 3D not enjoying it, even as a kid.
This is the lowest for me.
I agree. I think this is a solid C tier, and I think every kid agrees with this. Every fan of Spy Kids.
It had some cool game stuff, but it wasn't a spy movie. So yeah, it is low, but I don't know about
this. This is low because sheer like they tried something, it didn't succeed, and it's got some really bad acting from Stallone.
Like he was paid a lot and tried
like
little
did
bit.
this movie land during the writer's strike?
Maybe.
At the end, they have his dad like sweep a bunch of stuff off a table and then rocket out with everybody comes in with rocket boots. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody kind of like flies in.
That was kind of their one gadget that they would
weird.
get. What was the I guess agency that they worked for? The spy agency. What was it called?
remember.
Was it the OSS?
ISIS.
OSS. I'm pretty sure that's
The
what it was.
OSS probably.
OSS. I think that's what it
For
was.
Spy Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the OSS. I think that's correct. All right, so
What does OSS stand for?
Associated Spy, I don't know. Look,
Organized Spy Association.
I don't know.
That would
Look,
be
let's
OSA.
do this one. Alex Rider.
Alex Rider is like low B tier.
We didn't watch this.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna go with
yeah,
what you
put it
say.
in C tier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
we just didn't see this one, so we'll put it at the bottom and in the back.
When we watch it, we'll
reconvene
update. Yeah,
if
we'll update.
necessary.
We'll reconvene after we watch all of the the Spy Kids
And the Cody Banks.
and the Cody Banks and the updated Alex Rider on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Reconvene.
I want Agent Cody Banks 3. Frankie Muniz needs to come back. Now he is the director
Of the camp.
of the camp.
So I could see them
Please,
doing that. I
yeah.
could see them doing
Well, that's
that.
kind of like Cobra Kai, ain't it?
Screw that. Do it again. Do Cobra Kai. Yes.
Okay.
We need it to happen.
Yeah, do a Netflix series called Agent Cody Banks Returns.
They did that though with Spy Kids 4.
We need a Netflix series
I
though.
don't care.
All right, so let's do
Or Junie comes back.
let's do Cody Banks 2. All right.
Okay. This is A tier for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this out there. I think the Cody Banks are the most secret agent movies.
Yes.
The most spy.
Yeah.
That was
I
the
think
whole purpose.
Spy Kids are on the
Spy more
wacky.
So no.
They're on the wacky side of like being secret agent movies, whereas Cody Banks leans more towards
It's like a kid
more
Tom
towards-
Cruise.
Yeah.
kid James Bond, kid
Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, Ethan Hunt.
Right.
So I think this is the most grounded of the spy movies, except maybe Alex Rider, which is really like drama heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of agree. I mean, if I'm gonna say, are we trying to land like one is gonna be on the S tier, like the best of them all?
This is not that
because-
big of a deal because these are just Spy Kid movies. So put them wherever. I don't even.
Hold on.
I'm
No,
like,
Come on,
this
you
is
gotta
our
have an
childhood.
opinion. This is legit. This
This
an
is our
actual-
childhood.
This is a list that is definitive.
Yes, it's definitive, bro.
okay. The second one was better than the first one, in my opinion.
Then
Yeah.
S tier. One of these movies is S tier.
So that's
One of
S,
Cody Banks is
This
S
is
tier?
A then. Yeah.
I think Cody Banks 2 is S tier.
yeah.
More
I
than
would. I
Cody
would
Banks.
say.
even without the hot handler lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say 2 because more Keith David,
Yeah.
more Anthony Anderson.
Mhm.
And also, like, from a kid's perspective, the nanobot eating, like, dissolving technologies was a bit of a complex idea for a kid's movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
This has that really solid war. What is it good for scene?
Yes.
In front of the queen, they get the queen dancing.
Yes. That I think
They
Cody
did.
That's
Banks
some
2
classic,
that's-
like
is a better movie.
They actually had the
especially
queen
for
in that
kids.
movie.
not the real queen.
Oh,
the
well.
queen.
Josh is remembering it wrong.
He's
Man,
like the
what am I-
queen of England.
I'm not,
Okay, so that puts Cody Banks 1 on A tier.
A tier,
all right?
absolutely.
So we got the two contending, Spy Kids 1 and Spy Kids 2. I already know how I feel. I don't think anything deserves a B tier.
No.
All right, I think Spy Kids 2 is S. Spy Kids 1 is A.
It's the opposite for me. The first one's the
no,
first
the second
Spy
one's
Kid.
better. Second one's better.
The first Spy Kids is so iconic.
No,
the
it
second
is. I
one's
agree
better.
with you. And it's the start of the big franchise. But the second one is a better movie.
Yes.
But this one defined a genre of the kids spy movie.
Yes, but the second one was done better.
All right, I'll give it to you then.
It was done better, and it was more of an adventure and more of a intrigue story than a dude who's like creating fooglies and on a mansion in the middle of the water. You know what I mean?
I see the first one as being, it's really like they're on their own almost.
Mm-hmm.
They have to leave the house. They get a little bit
The
of
second
help
one
from
was better.
Machete.
I'm saying second one was better than the first.
That's
one.
fine.
You know what? I say second one is better than the first one, but I'm already starting to think Catch That Kid might deserve a B tier.
Why?
You know,
I
just
mean, I
reminiscing on
said
Cody
B
Banks
tier.
and Spy Kids.
No, just leave it where
I think
it's
I
at.
kind of I think
Just put Spy
Catch
Kids
That
2
Kid falls
an
below
S.
it. Oh, no, I
Put-
think Catch That Kid falls below it on a B tier.
No.
Because it's not a spy movie. It's a heist movie. But I think it needs
For
to be
that reason,
included.
yes, but it's not a B tier movie.
Now,
I think comparatively to these, yeah.
I think Spy Kids 2 goes up there with Agent Cody Banks 2. Dang, these sequels were
Hard.
They went hard.
Mm-hmm.
They
Both of them.
They doubled down on the concept.
Yeah.
Literally.
This is when Hollywood was doing good sequels. And then I think Spy Kids 1 and Agent Cody Banks 1 are on the same level.
So I think Spy Kids or Agent Cody Banks 2 is at the top of S tier in front of Spy Kids 2.
Probably.
And I think Spy Kids is at the top of A tier.
I can't believe we're doing this on the podcast. This is insane to me.
We
What
do
you
this
mean?
all the time.
What's wrong with you, Josh?
Ranking kids
Top
movies,
of B
kids
tier.
spy
Put that at the
movies.
top of the B tier.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's
this?
the only thing on the B tier.
I know.
but it
I'm
needs
just
to be
trying
at
not.
the-
I'm trying to give everything room. I don't want to make them too small, but I guess they're already
Everybody
small.
can see them.
They're already small. You can also zoom in. All right, so
This is the definitive tier list.
I say so. So we got S tier, number 1, Agent Cody Banks 2, Spy Kids 2.
And if you guys can think of more spy movies from this time, I went and looked at lists. These were like all the spy movies. And then it
Yeah.
started including like more adult like
Not
Versions
kids.
or just movies in general. I think Cody Banks. Oh, so for A tier, you got Spy Kids 1 first, and then Agent Cody Banks next.
yeah.
For
But
B tier.
Agent Cody Banks takes it on
Yeah.
S tier.
Yes. And for B tier,
As
you
a-
got Catch That Kid.
Okay, wait. As a franchise, though, or as like a, what's better, Cody Banks or Spy Kids?
I think it's better to have two really solid movies than like a franchise that falls off.
Right.
So Agent Cody Banks is kind of, I think, leading in the franchise department
Okay.
because both movies are really solid, whereas Spy Kids 3 kind of messes with the whole
Right.
continuity of
The franchise. Yeah, and then so for C tier, we got Spy Kids 3D
It's
and
the first
crazy.
3D movie I saw.
That anybody
Same.
our age or even older, if you mentioned these movies, maybe not
Alex Rider.
Catch Me If You Can, maybe not like anything below B, but anything above A, they would know exactly what you're talking about and have seen
No,
it
Spy
more
Kids
than
3D
one
is
time.
up here.
Everybody knows Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah.
It's really just,
You guys
I think
remember the
Alex
scene?
Rider. I think most people did watch Catch Me If You Can.
Well, you guys didn't see
Yeah.
Alex Rider, but I think a lot of people did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys remember the scene where she like sticks her hand out? She's got the big claw hand.
Yes.
And it comes out of the screen. You're like, oh my gosh!
But it's kind of fuzzy because the technology's not there.
Oh my
You know what I
gosh!
mean?
She gotta reach out to tear my face.
Right. I was more interested by like the floating like robots that would like surround you or whatever.
Who are filming everything like a video game?
Yeah, and it would like come when it goes into frame. That looked like it really floated.
They
I
did.
was looking forward
They
to
did
that.
a car scene. They did a Ready Player One
Right,
car scene.
chase scene. They were the first at. They
At
were
the
first at it.
beginning of Spy Kids 3D,
And it doesn't go
he
3D
walks,
until he gets in the game.
walks
Remember?
into a water park and there's this rich girl. She's like, there's no water in the park. He's like, it's winter. They shut it off for winter. And she goes,
They really tried to push that this kid was like hard.
Yeah.
He was hardened.
Yeah.
He was a child, and
Yeah.
he's walking around doing like, brooding.
Brooding, wearing dark colors. The only thing that was
Wild.
happy in his life after a childhood of spying was a video game that he had it broke my heart. This is when it tapped into like I actually felt movies emotionally. Was when at the beginning when he falls and he loses all of his money.
Yeah,
that broke my
broke
heart.
you.
I would be like, dang it, man! If I was there, Junie, I'd help you collect that money. I'd put it back. I'd give you my jar. That's what I would do. It really hurt. Did you guys not feel that?
Yeah. Look, we have to watch all these movies.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think a lot of these movies define how we watch stuff.
Yeah, it does. And how we review things, what our perspectives are.
And how we enjoy kind of like high-stakes entertainment.
I would agree these movies got us into liking entertainment in the form of film, and it did something for us, but I don't know if I could watch them.
I think the only reason people enjoy the first Kingsman movie so much is because the people who
That's a
liked
bold
it,
statement. That's a bold statement.
What?
Just say what you're going to say.
The Kingsman? Dude, people love the Kingsman movie.
Because of what?
Because the audience who watched it grew up on these movies.
That's
right.
It's not a bold statement. The audience who praises the Kingsman.
You didn't go as hard as I thought. I thought you were going to say, nobody likes the Kingsman. The only people who like the Kingsman is because of these movies.
No. The audience who enjoys the Kingsman, which is our age, who gives the Kingsman, like raises it up so much, even though it's kind of a bad movie.
Yeah, but I love these movies, and I don't enjoy Kingsman.
But the people who enjoyed the Kingsman grew up on these as well.
That's right.
So I think a lot of your enjoyment of these really high stakes kind of secret agent style movies comes from a lot of this. Cause we were watching maybe some James Bond stuff.
Right.
Some Mission Impossible stuff.
Some Rescue Heroes
but
stuff.
Mostly we were watching this for our spy movie entertainment.
Exactly. Kids that are spies.
And then the Kingsman comes out and everybody's, oh my gosh, the fight scenes are so incredible. And when that
mostly animated.
When that movie came out, I had been watching some really hardcore like martial arts movies with legit like martial arts, jiu-jitsu and stuff, Donnie Yen type stuff. And I watched the Kingsman. I was like, oh my gosh. This is some of the worst fight stuff I've ever seen.
This is just BS.
But we have one more topic.
Right. And I'm actually really excited about this.
Let's finish this off.
Okay. So about a week ago, all right, another video on
longer
YouTube
than a
was
week
dropped.
ago.
14 days?
For the people watching this, like a bunch of weeks.
Okay. Let's live in the moment.
I forgot this segment was a thing.
Everyone knows we're about a week ahead with this podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So about a week ago, there was another video, one of two, which we might talk about the next one next week if you allow us to.
Yeah.
So you guys remember? So Dynamo Dream mug salad. All right. We talked about it. We praised the crap out of it. What's his name?
Ian Hubert.
Ian Hubert. He's
Mr.
a guy
Hubbard.
who films on green screen in his spare bedroom in his garage, right?
He uses a lot of Blender.
He uses his girlfriend and creates a whole sci-fi world on Blender and green screens them in and creates an incredible story, short film.
Beautiful.
So we got a new one. Dynamo, a single point in space dream.
We're not watching it, are we?
Dynamo Dream.
I just grabbed some screenshots.
Dynamo Dream, a single point in space. This is episode 2.
I think he ups his quality with this one.
Yes, and he also gets more people. There was 4 characters.
His filmmaking, I think, is a level above what he did with the last one.
Right.
He's definitely trying to tell us a story. We can tell there's maybe a story with this.
This story is short, but and it's simple. It's like this guy has isolated himself.
Yes.
Because he feels like he's at fault for something. He's very jaded about the current system.
Yes.
And he's looking for something specific. He's trying to capture he's trying to capture this singularity, this black hole. And he's in a pocket universe by himself, the only person here, because he's trying to capture this one thing.
Yes.
And it seems like he's punishing himself.
Yeah, a little bit. And he hates everybody else.
And it's awesome.
It is awesome. And And like I said, there's more characters. The first one had like his girlfriend and then a dude who gave her something behind a cart or something.
And like and her boyfriend who's on film talking to her.
Right, right. And so we actually get to see more characters, and he brings in more actors.
And there's something in here.
Yeah, there's
with him.
I don't know. It's hard to see, but there's like 4 red eyes.
Yeah.
Somewhere here, right there.
Yeah.
And it's like this dark figure that's in his space pod with him.
And I thought it was Mirage until later on in the episode. He's like, window.
He doesn't explain this character.
And then this thing like breaks a window, so it's there.
And steals something.
Yeah, and we haven't watched it. We haven't watched it yet, but maybe the second episode explains this a little bit more. We'll have to see next week, maybe. But I'm just saying, include it in your podcast.
He really wants you to follow this one up.
What I'm curious about is, does he have a video for the behind the scenes for this?
Not yet.
He doesn't have it.
Not yet. No.
Dang it. Because that is really fun to analyze as well.
He's got the behind the scenes for the first episode.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has one out for this one because these
just
are new. This is like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks and
if he does those side by side videos,
yeah,
he's gonna get more views on that than he does on the short
the
film.
The first one came out a year ago and it already has 5 million.
Yeah.
You remember when we were talking about, we're like, this came out like several months ago and it's only got this many views. Now it's like 5 million.
Right.
This is a really important thing. This structure, this portal.
And look at the design.
It's like a Greek
tower.
And this is kind of how when
it's
when
attached to an asteroid.
When I was reading Dune, they explained things like
this,
very imperial, like the spaceships had these ornate doorways and the ships had this very Greek looking architecture.
Yeah.
And seeing it here is awesome.
Yeah.
He's very clearly inspired by some of the old sci-fi epics with this stuff. This is truly like an incredible design for this portal.
Yeah, I think you got another right here.
Oh my
So
God.
these 2 towers here, this is the entrance to a portal that he comes through. And it's the same concept, It's like these ancient
monoliths almost.
Yeah, these ancient towers, these ancient structures being used as modern technology.
But this is also
and
he's
everything.
in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
In that first one.
Yeah.
So their portal looks very, very different from our portals.
That's true. And also just the concept behind it. This is like, so his universe is very creatively is beautiful, but very cluttered. You know what I mean?
Even when he's
Everything's
doing like
cluttered.
maintenance on that observation drone.
Yeah.
He takes it apart and there's so much like tech inside.
Yes.
There's so much tech everywhere. There's a button for everything.
Yeah. And so it's almost overwhelming how cluttered, and just realizing that if he went the same route as he did with the first one, which I'm assuming he did, everything's created in Blender.
Yeah.
Except the actor themselves.
It's like Cowboy Bebop levels of space tech.
Yeah.
Where it's very it's almost 90s, like there's just stuff everywhere.
And so like there are scenes in here, right, where some moon or some sun is casting like light rays and light beams into his pod, right? It reminded me of Interstellar vibes. Except in Interstellar, Chris Nolan built a spaceship with like lights that would shine in through the windows to get that look. He's just doing it artificially
With animation
and Blender, and I was blown away by how incredible it is, because you have to think he designs stuff with detail and with texture. And everything's like in shadow until like light touches it, and then it reveals it clearly like what it is, and it doesn't like look fake when the light reveals it.
And then
you know
there's
what I
just
mean?
like weird tech. Like in this, right before this happens, he takes that thing out of
To
his
the
jacket,
phone.
puts it on the phone, and it starts spinning.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is that? What is it doing?
He's
definitely-
calling. It's like a calling mechanism. Like
Maybe, but
a transmitter.
He clearly like has a lot of thought of what he's like, this is doing this, but I'm not gonna quite tell you that. It's just like a thing that's happening.
And we even get like some H-Beam Piper kind of rhetoric in here where he's like, they've left you behind.
Right.
They're not coming here unless they need something or they want something.
Yeah.
So that's why you haven't seen anything come through this portal.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then we get this epic shot. I think this is truly one of the best shots in this episode.
I might do a video on
He
the
walks
studio
out
channel for this stuff.
with the duster on. He's
Yeah.
still in like his underwear.
Yeah.
And yet he comes out wearing some other dude's duster after calling this thing through the portal, saying some really dark rhetoric.
Yeah.
And posts up on this dock.
He
And
be
also
posting.
just everything.
Everything. You've got these orange little lights compared to these bright lights on the spaceship.
Dude. Now, I will say this. I don't know if you guys caught it. There was one moment that I was not convinced.
Okay.
If I'm going to be critical, because he does such high work, there was one moment where the green screen leaked a little.
Okay.
Oh,
Where was
he
it?
leaking?
It was, I think it was where he came, when he first came through the portal, and there was like that thing on the side of the wall that was spinning and that stopped spinning and it started spinning again. You know what I mean? And he like came into the room next to it. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It's like, I think it's right after he goes through this portal, and he doesn't have a shirt on. He's all wet. You know what I mean? There was, if you look at this arm a little
bit of fuzz.
a little bit of fuzz, and then
Maybe
I think,
some artifacting.
I think it collapsed for a second.
Okay.
So yeah, I was paying attention. I was looking at him closely. I'm like, how is he getting this so cleanly?
You were looking hard at it.
I was looking hard, and I found one scenario that I wasn't fully convinced of, but it's a second in a ocean of perfect.
There was one
pictures.
frame where I'm like, oh, it looks like he completely animated that arm, where he like does this on a thing, and I'm like, he may have had to completely animate that because there's nothing really there to interact with that looks quite like that handle.
Right.
So, no, this was an incredible thing, and I'm stoked to watch the second or
Yeah,
the third
me too.
episode now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it.
That's all I got.
That's all we have too. Do we do 30-second stories?
Well, we don't have to.
Yeah, but that's not.
We're already over
I-
time. Let's wait.
I fully expected you to just rip on one of my segments because you were telling me you were.
I'm saving it. I know
telling
you.
me.
I know there's
He's
going to be a
saving
segment
it.
where you really invest yourself, and as you did to me last week, I will poo-poo all over it.
I thought you apologized in this episode.
But I've already told you I'm never gonna invest so heavily that you can
Bro,
poop.
I know you.
No, you got
at a certain point,
do
you
it
are
for the
going to-
fans. Do it for the
You were gonna be
patrons.
like-
do it for the fans.
You were gonna be like, oh, the spy.
No, that was Joshua. He
the
started
spy
poo-pooing on
segment
it.
is crap, and you didn't put any thought. I was like, yeah, well, I didn't. I just kind of threw it.
He
together.
started poo-pooing on it. He's like,
No,
"What
no,
is
I never.
this?"
I didn't say you didn't put.
No.
I didn't thought or you didn't put stuff into it. I just said I didn't want to think about spy movies from my childhood. That's what I was complaining
Oh,
about.
you don't like the cringe?
Yes,
You're
it's very
embarrassed
cringe.
that you enjoyed some Spy Kids.
I'm not embarrassed,
schlock?
but I just don't want to think about what I did as a kid.
Gay.